Hey, Mama Bear. Today I wanted to talk to you about a series that I'm going to do, and it's going to be Understanding Your C-Section. So, the Understanding Your C-Section series is going to dive into some things like what are common reasons for having a C-section? Was your C-section medically necessary? And how can you move past your C-section? What are some medically necessary reasons for C-sections? All of that. And it's some heavy stuff. So just wanted to prepare you for that. And today we are just going to talk about some common reasons for C-sections. So let's get started.
Welcome to the VBAC podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Zaki, and I am a licensed practical nurse, international board certified lactation consultant, and birth doula. I'm also a mama to 4 little bears and a 3-time VBAC mama. My mission is to help you cultivate confidence for a positive and peaceful VBAC. This is a disclaimer that any of the information, experiences, opinions, and stories told on this podcast are with the intention of inspiring, educating, and informing parents. This information is not intended to treat or diagnose any medical conditions. If you have questions, you must consult your provider. Jamie Zaki does not accept liability for any decisions that you make after listening to this podcast. Hey, Mama Bear, real quick, before we continue with this episode, I wanted to ask how you're feeling about writing your VBAC birth plan. Are you struggling to write your birth plan because you feel like a birth plan is pointless since your last birth didn't go the way you wanted? Maybe you're struggling to know what the right choices even are for you, and harder yet is getting anyone to agree with you and support those choices. I know how frustrating and hopeless that can feel. Dare I even say isolating? It's hard to prepare for your VBAC when you feel like you have to defend every decision you make. But there is a better way. After my 3 VBACs and supporting countless mama bears through their redemption birth, I realized that the secret to creating a VBAC birth plan that you feel confident about lies within the 3 pillars of confidence: womanly wisdom, self-advocacy, and surrender. When you learn how to strengthen each of these pillars, you can unlock the secret to a peaceful birth no matter what unexpected curveballs birth brings. If you are ready to take the first step toward creating a confident birth plan, I am inviting you to join me inside the VBAC with Confidence Complete Birth Prep program, where you will learn how to connect with your inner wise woman, to trust your God-given intuition, develop fierce self-advocacy skills, and understand what it means to find freedom through surrender. The best part about VBAC with Confidence Complete Birth Prep program is that you can set the pace. Maybe your husband works crazy hours and it feels impossible to take a class together. That's okay, because you can binge learn together at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. while eating ice cream in bed without pants on. If you're ready to wash away the fear surrounding your VBAC on your terms and start making decisions from a place of confidence, head over to littlebearlactation.com/VBACwithConfidence247 right now. Don't waste another day letting fear write your birth story. Now, back to the show.
I'm so glad you're with me this week, Mama. I'm excited to talk to you about the common reasons for C-sections, and I'm curious what your reason for C-section was. About 30% of women in the United States have had or will have a C-section. So, like 1 in 3 moms giving birth right now are having C-sections. And the World Health Organization says that our C-section rates really should be around 10 to 15%. And C-section rates higher than that are not actually associated with saving lives or better outcomes for mom and baby. So that leads us to a conclusion that a good portion of these C-sections are not medically necessary. So I'm not going to go into what a medically necessary C-section is today, but I do want to talk to you about common reasons for C-sections. I'm not going to comment on most of these, but I bet you have some feelings and opinions on them. And I lied, actually. I probably will give some commentary. It'll probably be in the tone of my voice. If you could see my face, it would be on my face, I'm sure. I'm going to do my best to just keep it matter of fact, but if y'all have been with me for a minute, you know that I have too much attitude for that, right? All right. So, my C section was for a pretty common reason. My first C section was for breech presentation. My baby flipped breech at 38, 39 weeks. So, babies being in a breech position, transverse lie, or just kind of like oblique, even. So, that would be their head down, but they're going into the pelvis more than the birth canal, and nobody has gotten them to come down straight. Those could all be reasons for C section. That would be a reason for a scheduled C-section a lot of times, but sometimes babies are in weird positions in labor and it's not discovered till labor. Another reason that someone might have a planned C-section could be something like placenta previa, which is a condition where the placenta covers the birth canal. Some people have a planned scheduled C-section for, oh gosh, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Why some people schedule C-sections with their first, other, like, okay, with their second because they already had a C-section. You know how we all feel about that. Um, Sometimes people have a scheduled C-section because their baby is predicted to be large. So the doctor predicted a large baby, so they said a C-section is safest because the baby can't be born vaginally if it's large, is what they say. Some people are told that their pelvis is too small to give birth, so they don't even take a shot at it. They're just told that they have to have a C-section and they'll never be able to give birth vaginally, and that's that. Some reasons for C-sections that happen, they're considered emergencies, is maybe the baby is not descending. Mom's been pushing for 4 or 5 hours. It's getting exhausted. Baby is having late decels and they can't get the baby's heart rate under control after trying all the things. Sometimes when mom gets a fever, they assume that there's an infection and they do a C-section. Um, ooh, One reason for an emergency C-section is cord prolapse. So that's when the umbilical cord actually begins to exit before the baby. That is absolutely an emergency. And yeah. And as you can see, when we talk about these and just kind of list off the main reasons that C-sections happen, a, a lot of them sound pretty necessary, right? Like we're probably not questioning it. It doesn't make sense to question it because it sounds like that would be the reasonable option. And that's what I kind of want to dig into with you is a C-section really the answer for the concern that we have? I'm curious to know what your C-section was for and how you feel about it. If you feel it was necessary or you're starting to question how necessary it is. If you want to talk about that with me, go ahead and send me an email. I would love to hear more about your C-section story, why you're choosing VBAC, and why, like, what you feel about your C-section. If you feel like it was necessary, if you feel like it was unnecessary, if you're just not sure, or if it was like, you know what, it is what it was. I want something different this time, and you're ready to do that. Let me know. Email me at jamiezaki@littlebearlactation.com. That's JAIMIEZAKI @littlebearlactation.com. I want to connect with you and I want to talk with you more about creating the VBAC plans of your dreams. Come back next time so we can talk more about what C-section reasons are absolutely medical emergencies and which ones might have other options available first.